What's there to explain? They literally reused assets from Ocarina of Time to make Majora's Mask because they wanted to shit out a sequel in a year.
But the motive doesn't matter.
I think it was a great ass, though.
In a contest of the greatest games, some amazing titles were bound to be lost. But in this losers bracket, they've been given a second chance to rise above their competition. Today, Austin Hargrave, Gerard Khalil, Jared Knabenbauer, and Shane Gill join me, Forrest Lee, as the losers bracket comes to a close. It's Super Smash Bros. Versus Majora's Mask, and this is madness.
This is it, the finale of the losers bracket.
Losers bracket.
Let's open this up.
Well, one game is a rehash of like 10 different Nintendo properties. Whereas Majora's Mask is a rehash of just Ocarina of Time. So really...
Can I just start by saying, since we're gonna keep bringing up the rehash and everything, apparently this is important. Smash Brothers, really cool concept for a game. That's its biggest strength, really. It's not as polished or well developed as Majora's Mask. Everything in Majora's Mask has a purpose. Every item has a purpose. Every character has a purpose. Every song that you learn in your ocarina has a purpose.
I think that's because they developed Smash Brothers in actually a year instead of...
With 3 people instead of
rehashing a bunch of assets from Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, but unfortunately it's irrelevant.
I just want to put a little...
Yes, Gerard.
Where's the button here?
You got wait.
No.
Just press them all.
Explain yourself!
What's there to explain? They literally reused assets from Ocarina of Time to make Majora's Mask because they wanted to shit out a sequel in a year.
But the motive doesn't matter. I mean, it's just the game.
You say shit out with assets. To me, I think it was a great ass, though. every time, and this was a painful thing that happened in the early days of programming, right? We have to build engines for every single game we make. Hands down, we have to make a new engine that does this, a new engine that does that for this new game, new IP. In the case of Majora's Mask, it used the same engine from Ocarina of Time, yes.
Well, also, that gave them...
Ocarina of Time used Mario 64's engine.
Right, so in that case, it already...
And that's in the winner's bracket, so...
Right, so in that case, we already have... Again, it's going back to the fact that they are using the same engine. Of course, there's going to be assets and things reused.
But if anything,
if they did not use the same engine, they would have made fundamentally a very different game. To get
Also, I'm gonna jump in here and say, what is fundamentally wrong about taking things that work from another game to make a good game? I don't...
Yeah, if anything, that just gives them more time to focus on
on stuff like writing.
Well, Smash Bros. did. It took a lot of good stuff from a bunch of games and put them into one game.
I feel like you guys both don't want to vote for either game. That's the thing, is that I feel like you guys' horse didn't appear, and now you're trying to...
We had to take your horse
Now I'm
out
pissing on all the horses.
Yeah. That's probably the very Shane thing to do.
What I said at the beginning was mostly a joke, for the record, because I thought this was a funny concept. I just want to put it out there.
I just want to piss off Austin.
I mean, when it comes down to, I think what you were saying, I do believe Majora's Mask is a more redefined, polished experience compared to Smash Brothers.
Everything has a purpose in the game. All the characters are part of a quest, their own quest line, or they're part of the main quest line. And there's a million different masks. They each do something different. I mean, basically, none of the masks are useless. There's some that are less useful. I
don't know if
everything in Smash Bros. has a purpose.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a strong argument, because nothing in Smash Brothers is unintentional.
Well, all for the same purpose is to just be like a silly, fun fighting game.
I think what Austin is trying to say is that everything in Majora's
You mean it
Mask...
adds to a greater narrative?
Please,
Yes.
Shane, I was talking.
Let me just push this tension out of the way for a second.
You took away my horse.
Man, when it has a broken foot, I gotta take it out back and kill it. Ooh. So I think what Austin is saying is that everything in Majora's Mask has an artistic purpose, whereas Smash Brothers is more
all
like...
for fun.
It's very utilitarian. It's very Soviet in its design, in that it's a block...
Purely designed for fun.
It's just purely designed.
Let's do as we've been doing. Let's scope in on what makes a great N64 game.
Yep.
Start the multiplayer. Obviously, there's nothing on Majora's Mask.
Doesn't need it.
Doesn't how can you play?
What would have been a good
Zelda?
multiplayer?
Yeah, you can't.
That would if they put a multiplayer in Majora's Mask, people would be still making fun of it to this day. I have a hard time.
Oh, yeah.
It would be bizarre.
It'd be like, remember when they did multiplayer in a Zelda game? That was weird.
I mean, they worked for Four Swords, but
That was the game was built around it.
right. So in that case, that's out the window. That's a point towards Smash.
Yeah, when it comes to, if you're just saying multiplayer, like Smash obviously just kills it.
But on the other side of the spectrum, one of the bigger things about the N64 was games that had strong narratives and strong questing.
Strong single-player adventures.
Exactly, and I think right here we have two games that are great examples of the opposite of what their pantheons are known for. Good multiplayer, good single-player story.
This is something that we talked about before. Even though Majora's Mask has no multiplayer, it's a fun game to watch someone else play an adventure with.
It is a fun time to watch.
Just like
someone
when we
play.
talked about Pokemon Snap. It's an entertaining game to watch and have fun with your friends. You could just chill with beers and maybe pass the controller around, and that's a good
You
night.
get stressed with them in that time limit.
It's the little brother multiplayer, right?
Solve puzzles together.
Yeah.
I can't figure this out. What do I do? Oh, do this. Gotcha. Oh, that worked.
What do you think about comparing the minigames?
Yeah, like the
Minigames, like the shooting games and those things. Comparing those to the little extra modes in Smash Brothers, I think that's something small that we could compare.
I mean, comparatively, Smash doesn't have a whole lot of.
They both just kind of break the targets, aren't they?
Kind of,
Literally
yeah.
are
Okay,
break
well,
the targets.
in that case, if we're comparing the break the target modes, right? One of them used every thing you could do as those characters, whereas the Zelda's was just the bow. and
Get the
arrow,
hard
right?
piece, get the bow and arrow, quiver upgrade, get the whatever you need.
In Smash Bros, they designed it specifically for each character and made one for each character.
But they're all the same game.
I think they did it in both.
The argument, Austin, is
No, I feel you.
yeah, it's as much as it is break the target, it's break the target as these characters to learn how to play as these characters.
Also, but if you took the shooting game out of Majora's Mask and the break the targets out of Smash Bros, that wouldn't change my opinion of these games.
I just figured it'd be fun to talk about.
You were wrong.
It only lasted about 45 seconds. It wasn't too great. Okay, well, how about this, Jordan? I wanted to throw this to you.
Sure.
This was something I had been thinking about for a while, which is part of the reason why I was freaking out last time. I wasn't going to get to bring it out. As the completionist, which game is the most fun or rewarding, whichever you prefer, to complete?
I think both have their strengths and weaknesses. If you're talking about as the show that I've built, my whole thing is it worth the time investment? That's always the big question I'm answering is it worth the time investment to go on the journey of completing this game? In the case of Smash Brothers, if you're going to complete it, you're going to complete the game pretty quickly. Unlocking all the characters, beating all their extra modes, even beating the campaign, you can put it on easy or very hard. It's going to be an easy time. Majora's Mask, a lot more content, a lot more across the board. Getting all the masks, saving everyone, having the journal, 3 days. There's so much going on. Getting the Festivity Mask is a huge component for completing the game. Getting the full blade throw from original Zelda and Link to the Past felt really freaking cool.
Even the Giant's Mask, just what other Zelda game do you just become giant and start fighting bosses?
I would say the versatility of the main character and what happens in Majora's Mask is vastly superior than most games that have that kind of aspect of growing as a character and utility belt. So as a completionist, yeah, Majora's Mask definitely brings the 1-2 punch. It definitely has a lot in it.
When it comes to variety in gameplay, would you say Smash has more, or does Majora's? Because Smash has several different playable characters.
As does Majora's Mask.
But Majora's, like you just said, those masks are cool.
It's
like
my favorite
on the
part of
bunny
the game.
hood, the Giant's mask.
One of the best items
that was
in Smash, by the way, is the bunny hood. Right?
Yeah, it's very iconic.
The Giant mask is like, what? That was an awesome moment to do that boss fight, playing as the Goron, playing as Azora.
I love the Goron racing. That was a minigame we didn't think about.
I love the crazy dancing mask you put on.
Yeah, that was.
The bomb mask, those were all just a lot of versatility for a single character in a single game.
They were very smart with how they made those masks. Also, it tied into the dark nature of that storyline where
all those characters are dead.
Yeah, if you dug into that, you're wearing the faces of these dead people, which it's a cool gameplay thing, and they tied it in very smartly to the themes of that game, and that makes it the argument for that cohesive package.
Yeah, and as much as I love just fun games, like just pure fun, there's something to be said about a game that is just a standalone, just great piece of art and storytelling, and that's That's really why I just don't see myself getting over,
I think Majora's Mask was around the time when people got serious about our games art discussion.
Yeah, and
which isn't a discussion.
This is just, almost irrelevant because it's just my personal opinion, but from my experience, Majora's Mask was one of the first games that I played where I was like, whoa, you can do a lot with this. I mean, I loved Mario 64 and all the games I played on Super Nintendo and NES, but it was like, this was a big...
It's almost as if Majora's Mask is okay with saying it's okay to lose. And that's kind of a weird thing to say, right? But like when you lose Majora's Mask, it's very dark, very ominous, and very scary, but in the Song of Healing and kind of what Skull Kid is, there's kind of this thing that doesn't get talked about a lot in that game, and it's acceptance.
Yes.
Right? Changing fate and what a day to deal with the fate, right? Whatever the saying is. There's just this essence of acceptance, and every character has that moment on their last day when you don't do the thing. Like, they're sitting there and it's like, well, it's been fun. This is how we go. And I think Majora's Mask kind of teaches you as the player that ultimately, yes, you can be the hero of time and save everyone, but at the end of the day, you have to accept that fate just takes the wheel.
Yeah, whereas the message in Smash Brothers is taking a toy Captain Falcon and toy Jigglypuff and doing this is fun.
One more thing about Majora's Mask. I think the Skull Kid is it weird to say underrated? A really underrated villain? Like, because he's bullied. Like, so he's sympathetic in that way, and obviously he becomes unsympathetic to a point, but he's bullied, and so, if anyone who's been bullied, it's like, you kind of like, oh man, he was, he didn't have any friends, and they picked on him, and that's why he's so spiteful, and obviously that makes, so you can kind of understand how he became this, and then he, comes across this crazy mask, and then it's like, he becomes corrupted. So I think it's a pretty cool villain. I can't think of a more interesting Zelda villain off the top of my head, really.
Zant.
No. Yeah.
Zant and Girahim. You're my favorite in Hyrule Warriors. Thank you for existing. We have a lot of parallels to draw, right? But a lot of things to not compare. And I think one thing we haven't really talked about is the graphics, which I hate using that term. Like, the graphics are important, but I think visually speaking, in my opinion, I think Majora's Mask kind of looks better than Smash, and that's saying a few interesting things because, as you said, it was made in the Mario 64 engine.
Smash run at 60 frames per second?
I don't believe original Smash does.
No?
Melee, yes. Original,
but at least it doesn't run at 15 frames per second. Like Majora's Mask does.
Majora's Mask does have frame rate issues, even with that expansion pack in there.
I think, yeah. It's true. It's true,
but there's also more going on.
I do care more about frame rate than I do overall graphics, unless the graphics are just
fair.
Well, I think,
and to be fair to Smash, a lot of that it fits that toy box aesthetic of like, oh, this is the shitty Mario I carved out of wood to fight my plush Captain Falcon.
This is the Mario that I got at the carnival that wasn't an official Nintendo product.
Oh, you mean Nario?
Yeah.
Nario versus Duigi. Sure.
Dude-EG.
Congratulations!
Yeah, guys, we're gonna have to decide pretty soon.
I think it really comes down to, like you said, essences of Nintendo 64. Amazing multiplayer versus amazing single player, which is a kind of an apples and oranges thing. I don't have an argument in favor of either right now because both are
important and
pivotal.
Both are important and both are excellent in both of these games. This is like the epitome of some of the best multiplayer on this console and some of the best storytelling on this console.
Right.
I think I think just about anyone would guess what I'm going to vote for, but
Star
I think
Fox 64.
Yeah. I think that the way I'm looking at it, even now, but especially in the future, looking back, I think that Majora's Mask will stand apart more. It's gonna stand the test of time more than Smash Brothers is.
Majora's Mask definitely has good things about it that haven't been recaptured since, where every Smash Bros seems to get better in some regards.
At least to some extent. That's kind of the thing that I can't even really play devil's advocate. I can't even get past my own biases on it because I can't see myself, especially when I'm like 60 years old and I'm remembering all my favorite games. It's like I'll remember all those memories playing Smash Brothers, and I'll remember those those moments with friends and stuff, and the jumping up and down with my friend in Blockbuster or whatever it was. But I mean, when it comes to the game itself, I think that, even 10, 50, 20 years from now, Majora's Mask will still be the same great experience to play through.
So if you had to vote, what you do right now?
Majora's Mask.
Mm-hmm. All right, anyone else?
I'm gonna say Majora's Mask as well. It's almost, it's like, there's like a, I'm weighing it up in my brain, it's like 49%, 51%, it's like barely, but it's just in favor of Majora's Mask, I think. But that's like my personal preference. I think I prefer single-player games over multiplayer games.
Totally legitimate.
Smash does exactly what it wanted
hit
to
that
do.
brief, yeah.
But, yeah.
Jared, Gerard?
If I were to sit down and play either one, with friends or not, which one would hold up better today? It would be Majora's Mask. It's just it was a better made game, more polished. But again, Smash Bros. Some of the best multiplayer there is, but Majora's Mask is some of the best single player in overall game. It's just
outside of N64.
Yeah, almost as good as Paper Mario.
Almost.
So close.
I'm a weird person in the sense that when I play a game or watch a film, I like give my heart to it and I take what it gives back. And Majora's Mask, I think, was the first game that instilled that in me, where it's like I gave it my all to what this game was, and it just gave back in spades, and that's why I'm going with Majora's Mask. It's incredible.
Yeah.
The voting is unanimous because based on the arguments, I would also go Majora's Mask.
Yeah. I'm not a big completionist person myself, but Majora's Mask is one of those games that if I'm going to replay it, I might as well complete it.
Well, there's the incentive of getting every mask and finding out everyone's story and
seeing the ending.
A part of it. The completionist journey is embedded into the story.
I think your description of the 49-51 was so accurate for this one.
What's interesting as well is we've just kind of reflected Majora's Mask. It lost, but then it came back.
Yeah.
People, and we like how it didn't originally do well, and then people loved it. It lost, and now it's won the losers bracket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it accepted its fate, right?
That's just hard though, because like again, it's multiplayer versus single player, and Smash's single player or Smash's multiplayer was so freaking good at the time.
Yeah.
And Majora's Mask was great at the time, and it's still great
is.
now.
Yeah.
Whereas who would go back?
Whereas
and
like playing original Smash just gets rough.
Compared to what's already
Just
out
nostalgia, really.
Yeah. I mean, they remade Majora's Mask for a reason. They made the original Smash.
Yeah.
Because why would you?
Yeah.
People would argue that the original was remade when they made Melee and then when they made Brawl.
No,
well, those people are wrong.
Those are full-on sequels.
Right.
It's not a port.
Yeah.
It's not a port.
Which game do you think should have won? Let us know, and don't forget to like and subscribe because we have new episodes of Madness every Tuesday and Thursday. Also, if you haven't already, check out older episodes of Madness to see what we think about other games.